Here we are. Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our wonderful little sports podcast where we always go
off topic.
All right, before we get started, huge shout out to Wayne. I know if you've noticed right off the bat, this stunningly gorgeous table that we have now, handcrafted, no word of a lie. Wayne got the wood, cut it, dried it, stained it, and it's just unbelievably nice.
Beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I love this thing. Here's a picture of it finished without all our memorabilia on it. I wouldn't you call it crap, but yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, and it's just excellent. It's a beautiful table. I like it. It's a little bit higher up than the last one, so we don't look like we're on purchase. But right. This is really good. I love it.
Superb. Thank you very much, Wayne. This looks fantastic. All right, let's dive in. So
dive in.
Lots of sports going on. A story that caught my attention, caught my heart. The Birmingham Southern College baseball team.
Yes.
I'm going to let you take over.
So Birmingham College decided back in March they're going to have to shutter their doors.
Yeah. Funding issue.
Financially, they had applied to the state for some money, and in March they were declined. They had exhausted all their options, and they didn't have the money to keep going as a college. And it's a small college in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I read the history on it. It was two colleges that amalgamated into one at one point.
Goes back a couple of good 100 years, though.
Division III sports. It's back into the 1800s. The two colleges were 1886 and 1864, something like that.
A little bit of a last chance you.
Yeah.
But an opportunity. Anybody can get in, So
the day they shutter the doors, the baseball team goes into the super regional playoffs, right?
They win the games to get into the playoffs.
They win the game to get into the NCAA Div 3 World Series. And they unbelievable. They finished one of the 12 super regionals, get into the tournament. They ended up losing out in the tournament. They didn't win the whole World Series. But it was this sort of dream thing that happened at the end there, and the whole school, the whole city, everybody there was behind them, and it was just a really feel-good story.
And they knew the end was not.
Yes.
So the baseball team goes a GoFundMe campaign to get the $100,000 to keep the baseball team going.
Yeah.
Right? And what I like about this story, it's a bit of a Cinderella story. Maybe, there'll be a 30 for 30 or a made-for-TV movie about it. This is what I like. So college sports was supposed to be about kids being student athletes. You're a student, you go to class, and you get to play your sport while you're at college. And it's something you get to do to build character, learn teamwork, commitment, sacrifice. You don't get to go party. Hey, I've got a big tournament tomorrow. I'm got practice and I got to go home to cram and blah, 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 blah. That went out the window, especially for football and basketball at the advent of pro leagues. Guys go for a year or two and then they go pro. There was a time you had to play 4 years before you could go pro.
Yeah.
And then with NIL and the transfer portal, it's at least when I look at LeBron, God love him. He didn't waste anybody's time in university. He went from high school to pro.
Yeah.
He could do it. Nobody else can, whatever. But the whole college sports thing is just a big schmozzle.
Yeah.
It's about money, and it's not about education anymore. It's kind of sad. This story takes us back to that. None of these kids are getting drafted. Maybe one will get a tryout for lower A ball.
Yeah.
At the absolute most. Maybe they might play, one of them might get a crack at playing in Europe somewhere.
Yep.
Maybe. But this is the kind of character building thing. The school's gone. Our season's still alive. I'm not giving up.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
And we're going to figure this out. And damn it, we're winning a regional championship, and we're going to go to that final. Yeah. And we're going to do everything we can. And those life lessons, those guys built during that improbable run to the D3 World Series, that's what's going to carry them further on in life, as much as their education will.
Yeah.
And I hope a few of those guys are graduating. A couple more, pray to God, can get into another school, keep education alive. But that's what I like. Well, this is the takeaway for me from that story.
I think it was funny because reading the article about the school closing, not the baseball tournament, I went on the article about the school closing itself, and it was how the counselors and the administration were moving heaven and earth to make sure that those that could graduated, those that could transferred,
yeah.
And finding places for people to land. not just the students, but the staff.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think of the hundreds of people that work there just to make this happen.
Pensions and
So
health benefits.
I mean, it happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But you know, it really brought a community together. Yeah, they all worked together as a team. And even the games that they lost, I left my charger at home. Sorry, my computer's dead today. It's just for looks. The games were like 1-0.
Yeah,
they were fighting.
Yeah,
they were fighting right to the bitter end.
Yeah, so good on them. And I really hope these young men in that baseball team really go on to greater things.
Yep, and I think they will. They build some character there.
Yeah, and it's almost too bad. I mean, I wish I could get the roster, get their names, and just follow them, like where they go in life, and come back 20 years and see.
Yeah.
We're going to have a reunion in 20 years and think, you know what? Hey, man, look what we did. It's just fantastic. So,
yeah. Be something.
I didn't, on another note, this happens in this part of the world also.
Yeah.
Laurentian University up in Sudbury, Ontario, which had Last Chance U was his moniker because it took a 51 to get in.
Yeah.
Filed for bankruptcy because of the pandemic. They just couldn't get student bodies in. And
yep.
Canadian universities have to do a ton of fundraising. They do not get the money that people think they do anymore. Like those days are over.
No, it is. It's it's become one of the things that aren't prevalent to the government.
Yeah, it's supposed to be publicly funded, but there's a lot of funding shortfalls. UFV has people that their job is to scrounge around the Fraser Valley to find donations to keep the place going. So anyway, played for pride. God love them. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball now. Now, all the sports teams from basketball, football, now baseball are playing in London, England, and Germany and that kind of stuff. They're trying to sell the game globally.
Yes.
And for the most part, honest to God, it's been a success.
Yep.
People have been showing up. But the big takeaway, the Mets are playing Philly. And we're going to let this clip run. I'm not going to say a word because the guy doing play-by-play is needs a statue. This guy is unreal. Let it roll.
Smith against Castellanos. Wants to take his time, and who could blame him in the circumstances? He must be feeling so much pressure out there. Not the closer by any stretch of the imagination. That's Edwin Diaz. It's a closer by committee. He's the man today with the pressure on his shoulders. And Castellanos' bat explodes. And they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end! The shattered bat. The runner out at home plate. And the ball fired into the cloth. And the first baseman, Pete Alonso, and the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win Game 2 in London 6-5. 17 hits, what drama, what a game, what a finish.
Such an improbable finish. That swing by Castellanos was what we call a swinging butt. His bat explodes, the ball's just right out in front. They're able to get the runner at home and then get the double play. It's not a common traditional way to get it done. We prefer a team that's struggling and late in the game, they'll take it.
Josh, if this ball travels a meter or two, everybody's probably safe. It's probably game over.
Yeah, this was
remarkable.
A game of inches right there.
What an astonishing end to the game. The Mets can't believe it. Nick Castellanos with a look of disbelief on his face.
The beauty of this was the guy calling it. Was phenomenal. Yeah. The play was good. The shattered bat.
Oh my God.
Throws the first, gets double play.
It's the ninth. They're down by one. The bases are loaded. It's the double play.
Yeah.
But the energy that guy brought.
Yeah.
Honest to God, this is what Major League Baseball needs. They need some guy on Sunday night game with this guy's passion.
Yes.
This is what
100%.
It needs. And every single Major League Baseball play-by-play guy has to now apprentice for 5 years in Europe calling soccer. Because in soccer, it's lulls of entertainment. It's ball control. So you had guys kicking the ball around midfield, not doing anything. Boom, they go to the net.
Yeah.
And the energy comes up. And it's almost identical to baseball in its stop, go, slow pace, quick action.
Yeah.
This guy is just like a machine.
He was phenomenal.
Oh,
he was really good. Yeah, you don't see a lot of Vin Scullies anymore.
No.
And that's one of the things that you got to see there is that kind of enthusiasm for it. Like if you listen to baseball on the radio was back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Right?
Even, I grew up in the 70s, 80s and listened to the Expo game, Dave Van Horn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Yeah.
My grandpa used to have it going in the garage all the time.
yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's how I fell in love with baseball, was listening to it and the passion that you could see the game. You closed your eyes and you could see the game. Now you're watching it and it's really not really relevant to, there's a lot of going off topic.
It's honest to God, they've lost all the storytellers.
Yeah.
And that's like, you'll watch football, and I like Greg Olson, and I like, what's the quarterback? Cowboy.
Romo.
Tony Romo.
Yeah.
They're not storytellers. It's
No.
very, very technical to the play, breaking down the play.
Yes.
Most of the time, I watch a decent amount of football. I was around football with, the Giants and stuff. I mean, it's over my head.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Dennis Eckersley does play-by-play color. What the hell is he even talking about?
Yeah.
I can't even understand it.
Well, and it's because they bring the athletes back who know the sport so well.
But they haven't, you know what I mean? Like they came out of the minors, they played 15 years in the pros, and they don't tell the stories anymore. They don't know the history. Like, I do this every single time. Who would call it with Joe Buck, the ex-catcher with the Tim McCarver?
Yeah. McCarthy.
God, he was just a brilliant storyteller.
Yeah.
He painted a picture for you, and they just don't have it anymore. It's just sucks.
Yep. And it's funny. I saw a little video on my phone the other day, and it's Joe Davies who's calling the Dodgers game.
I sent you that. He's on Rich Enson's show.
Yeah.
Welcome.
There you go. That's where I got off my phone. But when he went to the Dodgers, signed with the Dodgers to do their to move in with Vin Scully. Vin Scully sent him a voicemail, and his wife actually got it put into the teddy bear.
Yeah.
And it's Vin Scully welcoming him to the Dodgers. The character of these guys, like they were their own personality.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
It's just changed, and things have got a lot more corporate,
yes.
and that makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Mervyn Brass, who I worked with in Saskatoon, is now news director up in Yellowknife, of all places,
Yeah.
CBC. He loved watching golf, and the Masters was his favorite. And he would have the TV on with the sound off, and he'd get the BBC feed off his computer. And
Right.
he goes, he took you there. Like these guys, there's something, they just know how to storytell.
Yeah.
They just took you there. It's just amazing to watch. Okay,
All right.
let's go down to Jay Suck. What they did is they lost 3-1 to Cleveland last night in a game they could have won. Another wasted good starting pitching.
Yeah.
To tell you, Vladdy's playing better. Was coming with a kiss of hitting 300. He's got 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. They just DFA'd Daniel Vogelbach. It was kind of a bench player, a bit of a warm body. They're bringing up Addison Barger.
Yeah.
Killing it in AAA.
So they also they made a trade this week. They traded actually with the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, the DFA'd
Biggio.
Kevin Biggio.
Yeah.
Who he likes,
And he's not bad. He's a utility player. Like he'll play off the bench. And the Dodgers brought him in. They've got he's platooning with Kiki Hernandez at third base because Max Muncy's out.
Okay.
Right. So they brought him in now. And he's played the last 2 games. He's done okay. Right.
But I liked him.
But the Dodgers cleared room for young guys.
Yeah.
To bring up young guys because their chemistry's not working right now. No, sorry, the Blue Jays aren't bringing up young guys because their chemistry's not working right now.
It's leadership.
Yeah.
It's not chemistry BS. When the 86 Mets won the World Series, those guys hated each other.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that literally fistfights would break out on the bus.
Yeah.
It was like you told them dicks jumping on the Christian guys. The Christian, one of them stood up and literally tried to punch out Darryl Strawberry. 3 guys had to hold him back.
Yeah.
Like chemistry is a bunch of crap. It doesn't exist. You've got a plan to win. You get on the field, you do things, and it's leadership.
Yeah.
And from Rogers Communication right down to John Snyder.
I'm not going to agree with you that it is bullshit or anything, but chemistry does play into it because you want to have to play for the guy beside you.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring in the Mets, those Mets hated each other and wanted to show each other up.
Yeah.
So they're coming out there and they're firing hard. It's when you're being little pissy pants, like, and I'm not saying the Jays are, but they look like they have no energy out there. They don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And whether it's happy care or mad care, you gotta care. And the Jays just don't. And the Dodgers look like they expect to win every game. And I think when they get behind, they're having a bit of trouble right now. So they've got to figure that out because they walk in like we're going to kick everybody's ass. Oh, they're leading us. Oh no. And they kind of shrivel. where you gotta have that pushback, and I'm waiting for the Dodgers to have a little pushback right now.
You got to be hungry.
Yeah,
Honestly, Kevin Biggio, I think it was last season, they platooned him out in right field,
yeah,
and he was great.
yeah.
He did a great job. And I'm looking at him, and of course, I'm not a huge George Springer fan. They're paying him a fortune. He's a good outfielder, but he's hitting 230.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, get rid of him, save the money, go and get someone else, and have Dalton Varsho, Kiermaier, Biggio in the outfield.
Yeah.
He's cheap. He's hitting the same 230. You're not losing anything.
No.
And they platoon him, and then, you sit on the bench for 5 years. Who the hell wants to show up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how they DFA him. They get a AAA nosebleed pitcher from the Dodgers, nothing for him. And it's just, when he came up with Bo Bichette and Vladdy, they were the trio that was supposed to be the future of the
Yes.
Everyone was really excited when they came up. And it's just an example of how poorly they work with their prospects and how shit the organization is. And they're just like, fuck, I'm just done. Sorry for swearing.
We need the cursed buzzer here.
It's where hope goes to die. It's at the Rogers Center. God. We'll get back to Julie Vogelbach in a couple of minutes because there's a funny factoid about him coming up. But okay.
Right.
So that's Jay Suck. Do you want to say anything? They lost to Cleveland.
That's how you.
Here's
just
the
like
thing.
triggering you.
Here's the thing. They lost to Cleveland last night.
Yeah.
Cleveland is like top 3 in the league. And they've got the number 1 pick in the draft coming up in a couple of weeks. And like soon. When is this? It's close.
17th, I think.
Yeah. So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like today's what?
It's this week. I think it's Monday.
So Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Monday or Tuesday.
So they got a first overall pick and they're playing great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins came from Cleveland to the Jays. And I was stoked because in the Cleveland drafts, develops, and gets some good competitive teams. And they're on a cycle. Maybe every 5 to 10 years, takes a bit of time.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is good. They've got bona fide baseball guys. We're blowing it. Cleveland has a great record and with very few trades, very few free agents. They've developed all their own talents and have brought it through their system, and they have a good developmental system. And I'm like, where the hell is Toronto's? Like, where the hell is it?
And I've said it 100 times. The Dodgers developmental system
Unreal.
is phenomenal.
Unreal.
And not only does it allow them to bring guys up that are ready, they have bodies they can trade to bring in impact pieces right away. And I think you're going to see the Dodgers are going to move some of those bodies that they're not going to have room for next year, but they're ready for the show to get pitching to help them through into the playoffs this year. So, I mean, watch for the Dodgers to make some trades. But the Jays don't have anything in their system. They've already
They traded away.
They've dumped it for crap.
And they keep drafting infielders after another after another. It's like, I mean, sure, they got some Cuban pitcher on a signing bonus of $250,000.
Yeah.
That's like bus fare.
Yep.
I mean, that's literal bus fare.
I like that guy. That guy can pitch. I watched him. He can pitch.
He can pitch.
Yeah.
Echeverria. There's no stats on him because they didn't, Cuba, they can't, there's not much they can pick up.
They'll give any information.
But it's just, like most guys signing boats, 1.2, 1.7, really high end 2.4.
Yeah.
$250,000, $240,000. Whatever.
All right, let's cheer you up. Let's show this picture here. Let's cheer him up.
My son, his very first trip by himself, his buddy Raphael lives in Chicago. This is my son Benjamin at Wrigley Field. Okay? This kid has watched maybe half a baseball game in his whole life. And the little prick gets to go to Wrigley Field. And I don't. And it's like, not fair.
Did he go to a game or did he just go stand outside?
I think they're on the road.
He just stood outside, took a picture for you.
No. They got the full tour of Wrigley.
Oh, they went for the tour.
Dressing room. He's on the bench.
Oh, no way.
That's at the Ivy. That's inside.
Oh, okay.
That's inside.
Okay. Right on. Oh, okay.
Then my wife, he asked me before he left, goes, what do you want me to buy you? I said, don't buy me anything. Get yourself something nice, a memento. And then, of course, Chicago's like the best place in the world to get a hot dog.
Yeah.
Deep dish pizza, the ribs, beef ribs, like unbelievable. Go get a lot of food because we like to eat. He has my working class palate, I guess we would say.
Yeah.
Nothing, no Michelin 5-star for us.
Yeah.
Get a hot dog, right?
Something out of a truck.
So he got some deep dish pizza. He got a beefsteak sandwich, which is famous in Chicago.
Yeah.
And for Korean barbecue, they went to Chinatown.
Nice.
Got a great meal in Chinatown, Chicago. And Barb told him, Father's Day is coming up when you get home, buy your dad a T-shirt or something and get yourself something nice. He bought a Chicago, Illinois sticker, a fridge magnet, because whenever we travel, I get a fridge magnet, and a new computer. He's got this massive box that he had to check his luggage. Oh, he had to get Barb's credit card to check the luggage because he got to pay a fee now. Oh, gee, the kid, he never spent a dime. He's just, that T-shirt he's wearing, he's had it for like 6 years. He bought it on sale somewhere for $5.99, and he just...
Well, Father's Day tomorrow. Maybe he did get you. Maybe you got dad.
He didn't, apparently, according to Barbie, he didn't get me. I don't really care. I don't need anything, but it's just, the point is he's just brutal.
So he did the tour of Fenway.
Yeah, you said Wrigley.
Wrigley.
Yeah.
Wrigley. Okay. So we were in L.A.
Sure.
When I got married a couple years back.
Yeah.
Right? The next day, we did the tour of SoFi. Right? So that's where the Chargers play, the new stadium there.
Yeah.
Beautiful new stadium.
Yeah.
Right? Then we looked, and Dodgers did tours too. So we actually did a tour of the Dodgers stadium, into the cavern and everything. And they typically let you go out on the field. So I'm like, I'm running to first base.
Oh.
I haven't run in years. Like, I only run if the police are chasing me or someone says free donuts.
Getting tasered.
Yeah, you see that? Oh. So I'm like, I'm going out there. I'm just standing in the batter's box. I'm running down the first base line, like at Dodger Stadium. Worst rain in California in 35 years. Wouldn't let us on the field. So we didn't
Grass field. The grass field.
Grass field.
Oh, yeah.
So I stood at the top of the steps out of the Dodgers dugout and filmed it from there.
Jeez.
$25 for this tour. And like, it was unbelievable. So cheap. SoFi was, I think, $35 or $40, but you got a $15 gift card for the team store.
Okay.
So I was like,
smart.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm good with that. I'm going to get a T-shirt and a tour, right?
Yeah.
So I did. But yeah, it was two of the best things I could do. Anytime I go somewhere now and I'm going to go to a stadium, I'm going to go check on the tour.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because it is so worth it. You get the history of the team. You get the history of the building.
And the nice thing, I mean, not to interrupt, but Wrigley and Fenway, you mentioned, are the last two original stadiums. Because Yankee Stadium got replaced, and of course, Dodgers used to play at Ebbets.
Yeah.
And Dodger Stadium is around since the 60s, so that's
quite a while.
But there just aren't a lot of, Green Bay. I mean, there aren't too many stadiums anymore, the old school stadiums.
100%.
The Montreal Forum's gone.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, anyway, I'm glad. Yeah. So he had fun. He had a lot of fun. I hope this is the first of many journeys for him, but yeah, a lot of fun. Anyway.
Yeah.
So where are we now?
We're going to go on to Caitlyn Clark.
Left off the U.S. Olympic team.
And I think it's right choice.
I don't know enough about women's basketball or basketball in general to have an opinion on this. I was a little surprised, like a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, but
her on the bench.
But
here's an in. She's the biggest name in women's basketball right now.
But the Olympics aren't about marketing.
Well, they are. Don't kid yourself. They are.
But you got these women that have worked together, this Olympic team that have worked together, and they've got an unbelievable. They only lost like 2 games, 100-something games in the 2, right? But this Olympic team of all these veterans who they put in their time and now they're ready to go. And when you look at Caitlyn Clark's stats, she's the 15th highest scorer in the league. 15th.
Yeah.
There's only 12 people on the team, and every one of them are higher than her. So they are the better players.
But she's the biggest name.
But
you know what I mean?
And that's causing her a lot of grief. It's causing the league a lot of grief. And if you watch her play, she's getting bodied out there pretty hard. She's having trouble adapting to the physicality.
She's playing on a crappy team.
Well, that's why they had the first pick. I mean,
she's on a crappy team, so she's not playing with a lot of talent. And one of the women on the U.S. team is like 41 years old.
Yeah,
and has been there. Has got like 9 gold medals.
Yeah.
Put her on the bench as a coach and get Caitlyn Clark in there.
But that woman's still playing. She's still playing and she's still producing and she's producing better than Caitlyn Clark.
But it was going to take. You know what I mean? You've got next gen coming up,
and they'll be in the next one.
Yeah,
and they'll have 4 years of. But the one point that I had was you watch the games out there. She's getting bodied. She's getting physically dominated. She maybe dominated the scoreboard. She's getting around it. She's finding ways to scores. On the international stage, that's going to be even worse because they know they can with her. They're watching the same clips.
Yeah.
Right. And that Carter that shoved her from behind, and there's a big uproar about that. You're just going to see more people doing that there. Whereas I don't think this was the right time for it to happen for her. And on top of it, she hasn't had a break.
Yeah.
She went from school, the March Madness, to training camp, to playing.
Yeah.
She can use a month to relax.
That's true.
You know, so give her a chance to build up some strength and some heal some bruises and that sort of thing, and come back for the rest of it stronger.
Yeah.
She's going to have many opportunities. She's going to be playing at 41.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
this one doesn't matter.
An interesting comment, Rich Ensign, who I follow on Facebook, I just adore, great sports show on Roku. He made a comment about, the Carter grabbing her from behind and getting kicked out of the game, dirty play. Because I miss it from the men's game. That has evaporated from the men's game. The physicality. It's not there anymore.
No.
And there's too much jersey swapping at the end of every single game.
Yeah.
Somebody get angry.
Yeah.
Somebody start pushy shoving. Even baseball, back in the 70s, 80s, there were bench brawls. Someone threw high and tight. He was going at the mound.
Yeah.
And fights, like real fight. Now it's just like you stare at the guy and you go walk.
Yeah. And everybody walks off the bench and kind of walks face to face. Nobody wants
There's
to.
no anger in it. There's like old school dirty guys.
Passion.
The passion, like they scrapped their way into that league.
Yeah.
Some of them went through colleges. Same problem with a lot of sports, it's gotten too expensive for the poor kids.
Yeah.
The factory towns aren't around anymore. And that was the way in hockey, you lived in a factory town in Sudbury, or you were on the farm.
Yeah.
Or you're, East Coast, your dad was, working at the fish plant.
Yeah.
This was your way out.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's like most of the team guys are coming out of Toronto on the Toronto Metro League, and their dads are lawyers and accountants.
Yeah.
Right? It's
paying for the training, paying for the virtualization training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your last year of
camp.
baseball's become the same thing.
Yeah.
Your last year of baseball in high school will cost your parents $25,000.
That's it.
Like the tournaments, the time off work, the travel, everything. There's no sandlot baseball anymore. It doesn't exist.
No.
It's all high-powered tournaments. The bats are $1,500.
Yep.
The gloves are $250. You got tournament fees. You got to travel. You got to go to showcase games, and the poor kids just don't play anymore.
Yeah.
Basketball. Hey man. Hey look. There's a hoop and a backboard in every single elementary, high school. Guys play constantly, and they, you don't have to go. You don't have to be rich to get into a top-end tournament in a tough neighborhood, because that's where they get all the prospects from.
Yep.
Same with football. South Texas, Florida.
Yep.
That's where they're going. So,
Yep.
Well, how do we get on this topic? Caitlyn Clark?
Training.
Training. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's whatever. We're off topic again.
We're off topic. We wandered off. We back on the road. Back on the Yellow Brick Road.
Steering back on the road. Okay.
Joey Chestnut.
This is a travesty.
No, it's not.
This is a travesty.
I disagree.
This is a travesty. Joey Chestnut is the 16-time Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest champion. 16 years in a row, he has worn the crown. He turned around. He's allowed to do this. And he signed with Happy Foods, which is a vegan hot dog vendor.
Yes.
And he's been booted off the Nathan's.
So Nathan's is paying him to come to these hot dog eating contests.
He is.
They offered him a 4-year contract, a $1.2 million 4-year contract.
Yes.
And they paid him $200,000 last year just to show up.
He did.
Right? He won the tournament. His numbers had dropped. So he's like, he had eaten like 62 the year before. He only ate like 57 last year. I added on my computer. My computer's dead, guys. But so his numbers had dropped. He goes off and he's promoting this vegan hot dog. Now people are like,
contract.
He signed a contract and he's promoting this vegan hot dogs. And he goes to sign up for Nathan's and like, what's my check going to be for this year? Where's my contract? And the guy's like, well, we got a contract waiting for you to sign. 4 years, $1.2 million.
Yeah.
That's a big step up from your $200,000 that we gave you last year.
Yeah.
Big step. Right. So, but we're kind of thinking that you're promoting our brand and not somebody else's brand. Right. And this contest is a Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
It is.
It's not like
Coney Island,
the Nationals or the States or anything like that, where any team can come. This is for Nathan's hot dogs.
Yeah. They've done this for about 50 years.
Not Nuts and Berries hot dogs.
Yeah.
Nathan's hot dogs.
They've sponsored this. This has been their thing, their Chestnut, pun intended, for about 50 years on Long Island on July 4th weekend. This is the Nathan's hot dog eating contest is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the pitch man wears his straw bowler.
Yeah.
Pork pie hat. There's a term for it. Straw pork pie? Yeah, maybe. And he's got the suit on with the vest, and he's a real showman.
Yep.
And he's been doing it for a number of years. And Joey Chestnut put this on the map. And there's a Japanese guy that he went up against, and the two of them went back and forth for a bit and built a rivalry.
Yep.
Japanese guy, he wasn't quite getting the same props as Nathan was, or as Joey was, got pissed off and dropped out or some damn thing. He didn't realize that he didn't know how to market himself as the villain.
Yes.
As like WWE, there's always a villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
He should have done the villain thing, and it would have made a fortune, but whatever. Anyway, so
Joey got
on this.
Joey got offered a sponsorship for the
Good Eats.
for the Good Eats nuts and berries hot dogs, and he took it. He took the money, right? And
that's his
now
right.
Nathan's, as his right is, but Nathan says, right, if Nike sponsors Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan shows up with Adidas, there's going to be a problem, right? And this is where the situation is right here. He was getting paid to promote Nathan's. Now he's getting promoted to pay the other one. He's not invited to Nathan's private party. That's the way things go, Joey.
It's travesty.
Travesty.
And on a similar note, they say it's more than about just the one guy.
Yes.
But it's like Jordan not playing in the NBA again.
Exactly.
Right? The NBA was bigger than Jordan, but not really. Yes, but unless someone else comes up, we still kind of need Jordan.
Yeah.
But on a separate note, Daniel Vogelbach, who just got DFA'd, needs to take over for Joey Chestnut at the hot dog eating contest.
I know, that was on the internet.
I don't know how true it is. Daniel Vogelbach looks like he eats a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah.
Big, solid, sort of portly guy. I mean,
but you look at these competitive eaters. They're not big guys. They're not big fat guys.
No.
Like people think that they look at me. They think I'm a competitive eater. No, I'm a pleasure eater. So I
enjoy it.
I enjoy it.
Savor it.
Yeah. I'll eat the whole pie, but it'll take me more than an hour, right? But these guys do it as a competition, and you watch them. They dump the buns like
in water
just so they dissolve in their mouth. I don't like it when my tomato touches the bread at Subway. Okay, it gets a little soggy. I could not do that.
And I have to practice too.
Yeah,
like there's a 30 for 30 doc on it. It's hard work.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Barb with watch like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm like, it kind of is, but I kind of keep watching.
Yeah.
And of course, right now, what am I doing? Craving a hot dog. So I'm going for a hot dog. So there's two good hot dog places in town. I'm going for one of them. All right.
Where are you going?
Cinnabon probably, but I'll see if Kev's is open down at Chilliwack River Road because I don't know. I'll see what I'll probably go. It's a little closer. I got some stuff I got to do there.
Too funny.
All right. What are we going to do next?
CFL started last week.
Yeah.
Regular season. They had preseason games. Preseason's okay, man. But the regular season started. Lions lost a nail-biter, 35-27. It was a close one, right? Good first week. It's the home opener for the Lions today.
50 Cent.
50 Cent's playing there.
They sold out.
There you go. There's 50 Cent. BC Lions present. Actually, there's still some tickets available. Just singles, though.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For tonight. Guaranteed $100,000 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
So my son calls. Here we are. Yeah, 50-50 BC Lions. Guaranteed $100,000 jackpot. I mean, one lucky winner will take home at least $50K.
So how much does the ticket cost?
They were only about $30.
That's not bad.
No, yeah, and the kids' tickets are cheaper.
Okay.
And some of them, you said 15 to whatever, but when I was looking, they were like $30.
Okay.
And you can still go today in a single seat for $30. But my son's going because 50 Cent's there.
Yeah.
And my son played football. He's gone to tons of Lions games.
Yeah.
And he's more of an NFL fan. But he's like, you have to watch some football. You have to watch 50 Cent. Maybe they'll win $50,000.
Smart move.
So, yeah. So it's
people in the seats.
But then we were talking last night because we had all the kids were over last night for my grandson's birthday.
Oh, right. Yeah. Happy birthday. Well, Munster Pat.
So you got him. He's 2, so we got him the Too Fast, and it's all Cars stuff. But then we got him the jumpsuit, the Cars jumpsuit, and he's just happy as a clam with walking around with a hot dog.
Oh, that's so cute. All right, go ahead.
And we're talking about it, and they're like, my older son plays men's touch football, and my stepson plays with them, and my younger son used to play, but he doesn't anymore. But they're going, let's go to the Grey Cup because it's here in BC. So I looked up prices, $30.
Go see a Grey Cup game?
Yeah, like you're in the nosebleeds.
$30.
The top seat, which was in the booth in the booth area, like the fancy area at the 50-yard line, right at the 50-yard line, not in the 100s low, but like in the 200, just on the one side, $285.
That is dirt cheap.
Best seat in the house. You're on the 50-yard line.
Go to the Super Bowl.
$280. That's the Grey Cup. It's going to be a phenomenal game. So I'm not paying $280. No, we're going to go. We're going to go to the cheap seats.
Sure.
Maybe spend $50 a seat. But we're all going to go. Why not? BC's looking good this year.
Yeah.
They played today at 4 p.m.
The Alouettes.
50 Cent. Whoa! What a game last night.
I missed it.
Ooh. It was. I didn't tune in until the end because we had the party.
Right.
But with a 2-year-old. So I tuned in at the end, and it was 23. But they got the extra point, so 23-13, and Edmonton with 30 seconds left tied it up or got up to 23-20.
Okay.
And then so they had to try for the onside kick, and the guy did this behind the leg kick, like he came running at it, then behind the leg to hook it over to his right, caught the guy off guard. The ball bounced off of him and was open, right? And he ended up getting on top of it and game over type thing, right? But Edmonton had 3 guys right there almost getting the ball. And in the CFL, it stops on every play.
Yeah.
So 30 seconds is a long time.
Yeah.
Right? NFL, that's one play, kneel down, it's over, right? Montreal had to actually run a couple of plays and get a first down to end the game.
Fletcher scores 2 TDs. Alouettes hang on to beat the Elks. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very good. My champion Montreal Alouettes are quick to that championship form.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Okay, I'll tell you a funny story about little kids and birthdays. My older son Matt he's in his 30s now. We're having like his fifth birthday party at our apartment in Toronto. My sister is traveling with work, and Warner Brothers had apparel stores for a while. I don't know if they're still around.
Right.
So you can get the Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck shirts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So she gets them a little T-shirt and a little hat, and she wants them to try it on. And just as we're about to serve dessert, my brother-in-law, who's a chef, comes over directly from work, busy guy, and he goes, "Hey, Matt, I've got your first professional chef stool here. Didn't have time to wrap it, buddy." And he gives him an ice cream scoop with the trigger. And this is like an industrial one. This isn't the shitting ones you buy at Walmart. This is like good. Nothing else mattered, right? Nothing else mattered. And my sister, she puts the hat on him as he's serving the ice cream, and 32 seconds later, the hat's on the ground because it's distracting him as he's working his ice cream scoop. Kelly's like crying. She's so heartbreaking. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard because, of course, he doesn't wear a stupid hat, Kelly. He's got a new ice cream scoop. Like, oh, yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh, too funny.
Very funny. Okay, what's next?
Claypool and the Bills.
Chase Claypool, early numbers out of training camp, OTAs, minicamp. He's absolutely crushing it.
Yes.
And I get Sports Illustrated comes up on my phone.
Right.
And, of course, because I go on the Bills a lot, and Claypool, it automatically comes up, like Big Brother's listening.
Yeah.
And Buffalo reporters are saying he is, like, doing stuff on the field. They're drooling.
Well, and here's the thing.
Catches downfield, leaving the corners in his dust.
Yeah. The thing is Chase has always had the talent.
Yeah.
Right? And when he went to Pittsburgh, he showed he had the talent. He lit the league up.
Yeah.
People were like, oh my goodness, first 2 years. Ben leaves. Ben could throw the ball down the field. Chase is gone.
Yeah.
Right? He's off the line. He's breaking coverage. He's down the field. He's open, throwing the ball. Right? And so Ben leaves. They get Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. These guys can't throw more than 15, 20 yards down the field.
They're more rushing quarterbacks.
Exactly. Short plays. Yep. They can get a ball off, but it's like a huge arc. Ben's throwing ropes down there, and Chase is grabbing them, right?
20-yard boom in the end zone.
Yeah, exactly. On a rope, not on a curve, but on a rope, right? And Chase is breaking coverage. He's scoring touchdowns, looking phenomenal. Ben leaves. These other guys come in, and Chase's talents are now wasted.
Yeah.
What he really
brings for an offensive plan.
Right? So they trade him. Great. They can get something for him. There's value to it. They got a second-round pick, I think, for him.
Yeah.
From the Bears. And he goes to the Bears, which has a quarterback that can only throw 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
And runs all the time. And they want him to go out and block. Right? This isn't an ideal fit for him. So you took him from this ideal situation, and you crammed him into this unideal situation, and then complained. And when he's saying he needs to be more involved, he needs the ball in his hands to help the team win. Oh, he's a whiner. He's a cancer in the locker room.
He
is not.
It's tough. NFL, it's like there's so many guys, and there's so many players. And part of the problem is with wide receivers, we said this before, there'll be one quarterback, one center, one nose, 4 receivers on the field at any one time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. And it makes it tough. And you have to have the right fit. And there's a lot of guys with a lot of talent that end up getting drafted into the wrong teams.
Yep.
And their style of play just doesn't fit their offensive plan. And I'm so thrilled that he landed in Buffalo. I don't want to say I told you so, because I was saying all along when he was a free agent, he's got to go to Buffalo.
But so he goes from the Bears, he gets traded to the
Dolphins.
To the Dolphins, who had studs in every position. They were established. They had that relationship, chemistry.
Von Diggs
working
with 2-0.
And he's and so he comes in as special teams and as backup in case anybody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Right? It's just an insurance policy. Last year of his contract, that's all Miami wanted him for. If they would have made a deep run in the playoffs and Tariq Hill gets hurt or Jalen Waddle gets hurt, they can put him in. He had a real uphill battle to try and fight one of those guys for a spot.
Yeah.
Right? So now he's a free agent. Right? He gets to pick the situation that he goes into. And he was very smart about it because he looked at where the ideal situations were. And we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Buffalo, Seattle, LA.
Chargers. Yeah.
Were 3 spots that were really good fits for him because they didn't have a true number 1.
No.
They had a quarterback that could throw the ball the length of the field. And they had a run game to support it.
Yeah.
Right?
And Seattle, run game, Geno Davis, throwing.
Geno Davis could pop that ball downfield on a rope.
He can.
Yeah, he's more. I think his short game is more suspect than his long game.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I see him more as a scrambler, but
yeah,
sure.
But he's not doing those bops.
Yeah,
right. He's either scrambling or bombing it.
Yeah.
He's running around to get guys open so he can power it down the field.
Right.
He doesn't play an intermediate game. Josh Allen, it does. Josh Allen will run. Josh Allen will throw short. Josh Allen will throw long. You never know where Josh Allen's going to come from.
Right.
The guy's just absolutely amazing. He believes in himself like no one else, and he'll go out there and he'll just fight.
Yeah.
Right. And when you got a guy like Chase Claypool, he runs the sweep really well. He runs the play action really well. You can get the ball into him behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll make yardage. You can get it deep down to the field for him. He comes really good on the crossings. He's a big body, so he can take a hit. He can lay a hit.
Yeah.
Right. And if he's engaged, his blocking is going to be phenomenal.
Right.
With the Bears, they didn't use him, they go up and block. Oh, yeah.
The Bears were a bit of a mess last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, they were horrible. But
no, the Bears were a mess last year, too, because they got the first overall pick.
no, they had to have a trade.
Yeah,
but
they really weren't that good anyway.
No, they weren't. They weren't great. They finished 9th. They got the 9th pick. Yeah.
They were pretty crap.
So they got the 9th
situation. And
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm super happy for him because we talked about it. You wanted him to go to the Chargers.
And that was selfish. That was selfish.
Totally.
I think the Bills is the best.
It would have worked. It would have worked.
Yeah.
But I said all along, I'm not doing it. I told you so, but I always mentioned that he's got to go to Buffalo. The offense for him.
And I agree with you.
You sent me the link that said when he got signed.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't believe it. I second sourced it on ESPN. I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, oh my God, he actually went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's the perfect fit for him. Josh Allen couldn't get arrested out of high school, got to JUCO because his cousin knew a coach there, and then got into University of Wyoming, and then landed, I think, 8th overall. Buffalo moved to get him, sucked for 2 years, and then really took off.
Yeah.
They have a similar journey in that they had to prove themselves. They had a they had a big, so it's just, I think they understand each other.
Yeah.
And their style works perfectly. Like, it's such a good fit for them.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the season, and stay healthy, everybody. And, oh, God, Chase, I want to have a great season.
Totally agree. See, we got in Chargers, we've got a Canadian kid, Josh Palmer.
Yes.
Who's going to get an opportunity this year because they let their top 2 receivers go, traded one and released one. And so they've got that rookie from last year who's super tall, big boy, can go for the contested pass. And you got Josh Palmer, who works out of the slot, Canadian kid, phenomenal. When there was injuries last year, he really picked up the slack. And I think those 2 guys are going to take off. I really thought like a Claypool would be great on the other side.
Oh yeah,
on the outside,
it would have worked.
But then they drafted somebody.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be good. I like where he ended up there. That Keon Coleman in Buffalo as well. The 2 young guys.
Yeah.
You got Chase, who's got a bit of experience. He's bringing this rookie up with him. The two of them are going to mesh well. They're going to give 2 targets on the outside that can just stretch that field and give Allen room to run, really.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. All right. Now we're going to go to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my wackadoodles.
So Aaron Rodgers, go back to last year, takes a snap or something, first game, 3 plays in, blows his Achilles.
Yes.
Horrible luck. Nobody ever wants to see somebody get hurt. Not everyone likes Aaron Rodgers, but to get hurt like that just sucks. So he's at every single game in the stands on his crutches, watching all the games, at the practices. He's at the team. Crazy as he is, he was there.
Yes.
Now he's healthy. Minicamp starts, and he's not there.
Well, okay. So
Explain to me. I know he's nuts, but this is like next level. Like,
So he's at all the OTAs, which are the optional team activities, right? OTA, optional team activity. He's at all of them. And it comes up to this mandatory mini camp, and he had another obligation he had to go to. He had talked to the coach. He had talked to the GM. They said fine.
did he?
He did. Well, that's what they said. That's what they said.
Because
Sally said he had another, but it's an unexcused absence because it's mandatory that you're here. So he's going to get fined.
why would you have something that you have to be at other than you have to be at minicamp? No, I've got something else I got to go do instead during minicamp. Do during the OTAs.
And nobody knows what it is. Nobody's saying. Well, I guess people know what it is. Nobody's saying what it is. But he had talked to the coaches. He had talked to the GM. They all understood that he wasn't going to be there.
I understood differently.
Yeah. So
I was led to believe when I read it, a little bit, people are like, no, he's just an inexcusable absence. We don't know where he is.
Oh, it's definitely an unexcused absence. They're going to fine him for it.
Yeah.
And he's already said, it's okay, I'll pay the fine.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just weird. Like, you got to do this during minicamp. Like, he's a bit of a nut job. And Shannon Sharp is now standing up saying, 10 years ago, I said this guy was crazy and a complete selfish player, and everyone dumped all over me. And I would like an apology now because I'm right and you were wrong.
Yeah. So with the thing that, yeah, there's no issue. Okay, here's Sally, the coach, right? Aaron and I are on the exact same page. There's no issue between Aaron or his teammates for that matter. We address it as it's more of an issue for everyone outside the building than it is inside. That's about it.
Right.
He participated in the voluntary portion of the off-season program from April until early June, but told Sally earlier in the off-season that he wouldn't be able to attend the mandatory minicamp because of a previous commitment. Nobody's saying what it is. Sally supported Rodgers' decision, yet he termed it an unexcused absence and said the 4-time MVP was subject to the NFL's fine schedule.
Right.
So he's going to be docked more than $50,000 for skipping the 2-day minicamp.
Chump change.
So he had something come up that he had something that was already pre-planned. Schedule came up. He was like, hey, can't be here. Sorry. It's because of this. They understand why. He's been working with all the voluntary stuff. He's been working with the receivers outside of everything. They've been working out together. Like he does want to win. Now, it was funny when he was in Green Bay and he was winning and then getting MVPs and playing these miraculous games.
Right.
Everybody deemed him a little eccentric.
Right.
COVID hit. He had a problem with the vaccines. He voiced his problem with the vaccines.
And Joe Rogan.
On Joe Rogan, of all places, right?
And an anti-vaxxer.
And then it came out that at the end of this season, he does this darkness retreat, right? Where he goes into this chamber where it's all dark all the time for like days or a week or whatever. And he does this clears his whole chi and whatnot, eats nuts and berries. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, that guy's a little off, right? Shannon Sharp saw it way back when, right? Yeah. But he was a little off. He's always been a little off.
I think they're all off.
Well,
You just hide.
you get hit pretty hard, right? For a lot of years.
To do that job, you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like goaltenders.
Yeah.
Goaltenders are always a little weird.
A little off.
Yeah, because they're getting a piece of plastic shot at their head really fast over and over. Catchers, But so, he's always been a bit of, but when he started coming up with these views, and then he said a few other things, and then he was going to be the running mate for
JFK Jr.
JFK Jr.
Harvey Jr.
Oh my goodness. He's gotten a little weird, but the spotlight's on him because of what happened when Green Bay and when he got traded from Green Bay to the Jets. The spotlight's really on the way he handled it at the end there. What, is Aaron Rodgers going to play next year? Well, he's going to go into his little dark hut And when he comes out, he'll let you know if he sees his shadow or not. Right? So he is a little bit odd.
Oh, my God. He can do his job, but yeah.
Really hated last year that the third play in, and I did laugh at first. Right?
No, it's not funny. He blew his Achilles.
Well, it would have been funny if it was just a game or two.
Yeah.
But he blew his Achilles. So you're like, oh, that just sucks, man.
Whole season.
The whole season. The Jets were all pumped up. The Jets fans were all pumped up. They finally had a quarterback to go with this great receiving staff. They have running backs. They got a good defense. Bam, he's out. And, and they've got nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I'm hoping that he's healthy this year. I think this is much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
Like Sal has said, everybody outside the building's more interested in it than the people inside.
Yeah. Everybody likes a good scandal. But it's Aaron Rodgers is the lightning rod.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just curious what exactly it is. If it's a personal issue of maybe dealing with mental health or an addictions thing or a family, like there's some family thing that he's got to be an intervention, that's sure, no problem. Anything other than that, I'm just curious what it is that he had to make him. And it's really none of my business or anybody else of that.
Yeah.
It's a personal issue, and
you got to think, because he is the ultimate professional. He is
love or hate him.
He is a professional.
Yeah.
Right. And he's been there for all the voluntary stuff.
Yeah.
He knew he was injured last year. He's trying to get the team together. He wants to sign for 2 more years with the Jets. They've had these conversations. It's not that he's just kind of wandered off and didn't show up. He had conversations. He said, hey, I've got something. No one's saying what that is. So I'm thinking it's personal.
It's no one's business but his own. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like the stars will align and there's a pagan ritual inside the Stonehenge that he has to be there for.
I'm pretty sure that's not it. And I'm pretty sure the Jets would be like, no, get your ass back on the field. Yeah, you'd have to have a pretty good excuse to miss many games.
So and you know what? It's nobody's business but his.
Not.
And as long as the coach says we're on the same page, and the rest of the team supporting him too. So
there you go.
Those are the guys that matter.
Okay, so we want to go BC CFA flag championship picks. I was not there. Oh, there's Kenna. Look at her.
Yep.
Greg Fawcett. Jeez, I love Greg.
Yeah, Tyler Barbone, he's a great guy.
Under 16, look at that. They won it. Just such a great tournament. Joe Gluska. It's how many extra teams this year?
It went from 62 to 81. So 19 extra teams this year.
Amazing.
So
Prince George, Calgary.
Vernon, Calgary. So pre-COVID, back prior to the split of the BCCFA and the BCPFA, our best season was 228.
Okay.
228 teams. And it was massive. It was 3 days, the whole 9 yards. COVID happened. There was the split. So the VMFL stays here in White Rock and does their thing, the VCFL, and the other people go to Kelowna, and it's now the Joe Gluska Flag Invitational. They call the one in White Rock the provincial, but it's only the VMFL teams.
Jay Spencer, and there's Joe there.
There's Joe Gluska right there.
Yeah.
So they, you got to think 10 players per team, 81 teams, 810 athletes out on the field for the weekend. It was phenomenal, and this was the first time that we played on the They play on the Saturday, and I do the scheduling up there for this thing, right, and the field allocation, and we're up there on the fields. Everybody's playing the Saturday. It was a beautiful, hot, sunny day. We get the young guys done in the morning. We get the older kids in the afternoon, and then they're out of there by 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
go enjoy Kelowna, right?
Wow.
And then on the Sunday, the consolation rounds and the little kids, the U8 to the U10s. First year for U8, we had 5 teams up there. I got a video. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see.
Right. There is this, when you look at kids like that, because you and I love Adam football.
Yeah.
It reminds you why you do it.
Oh, 100%.
Then you start there having fun.
Yeah.
They do the plays and stuff, but really.
There's 2 girls on the team. So I get my phone out. I'm recording this team play, right? And these 2 girls are dancing, and they're running over there, tapping each other, and like, and then so I got this video of it. It was so cute, right? And then I'm up in the clubhouse, and they're like, we got a age verification we got to check on. Are girls allowed to play a year down? So usually, like if it's U8 and an 8-year-old girl, the guys have to be 6 or 7. Girls can be 8, right? They can play 1 year down, right? And they're like, can we get an age verification? They think this girl's 9. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're kidding me right now.
How would you know?
So we go down there and look.
Like 12 and 13 for kids, there's a notable difference. 8 and 9?
Yeah. We go down to look.
You get her driver's license?
The girl they're getting the age check on, right, is the one I got on the video doing swirlies as the guy with the ball runs past her, right? Like, I'm like, you're kidding me.
Really?
Everything about this tournament is phenomenal, except some of the coaches get a little too competitive. But here we go. We got the blackout, Giants blackout. Greg Poisson, Tyler Barbone, U16. And then we've got the Valley Elite. That's Kyle Beauregard. That's his NFL flag team that he takes to the NFL flag tournament.
Brilliant.
There.
U12, the Untouchables.
Knights, Untouchables. They played really well. And then Kelowna Outlaws won the U10 division. And Abbey Hawks won the U8. And the U8, I love the U8's my favorite. They all get BC Lions bags. BC Lions donate bags.
Wonderful. Look how much fun. They look at big smiles on their.
Oh, they had a blast.
There's Dale Corey.
There's Dale. So this is Michaela Fitzsimmons. Michaela Fitzsimmons brought a U16 flag team from Calgary.
Okay.
Right? So Calgary brought 3 teams. They brought a U12, a U14, and a U16 because first kind of foray into it.
Yeah.
Right? So Joe Gluska, Jenny Gluska, and Jay Spencer worked with these guys, and they got these 3 teams out there, and they came and they played. On the Friday night, they were like, oh, yeah, this is really exciting. I was talking to them, said, hey, we're going to talk to you on Sunday, see how you like the tournament, see if you're coming back, that sort of thing. And I ended up having to leave because of a work problem. But Dale did an interview with them, which you'll see next week in total with some highlights and interviews with the Gluskas. Joe Gluska, Jenny Gluska, Jay Spencer, Michaela. But my understanding is they had a great time. And they're coming back and they're bringing more teams next year.
And then Prince George was there.
Prince George came down. Yeah, Jamie Borum is the head coach of the Kodiaks, Prince George Kodiaks.
Yeah, okay.
Great guy, super good guy. Brings down a team for every level and has a lot of fun. He was smiling. He said, he had a great time with it. So
Prince George is tough because we're in Chilliwack and it's 10 hours hard driving to Prince George.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly next door. But I'm really glad they're bringing teams down because all that whole area, like Vanderhoof, Prince George, I'm trying to think some of the Quinnell,
Williams Lake.
They really bring they do 6-man, and they do it brilliantly. We've seen a couple of border bowls where they brought some guys down. Holy,
I've coached a lot of kids out of Prince George. I have a lot of love for the Prince George folks. They
the talent coming out of there.
Yeah, and salt of the earth people too. Yeah, like we're just really good,
really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up. So next week, Wayne's out of town.
Yes.
The next 2 weeks, I'm out of town, so I'm not here. I forgot to send you guys an email. This is the first you're hearing about this.
So next week and the week after, or it's 3 weeks?
I'm gone for 2. So I'm gone for 2. I'm gonna send you guys an email. So long story short, we're not gonna have a show next week. I'll probably come in during the week. I'm going to voice over some of those interviews and some of the highlights from Joe Gluska.
Yeah.
And we'll just run that. So our apologies. Our tens of fans will be very disappointed.
The long weekend, you're not here.
You're not here the long week.
I'm not here the long weekend.
I'm not here, and then I'm gone the week after.
The long weekend, too.
After the long weekend, because we leave on the 29th.
Right.
That's the long weekend, right?
Yeah.
So 29th, we leave the next weekend, and we think I'm back. So I'll send you guys an email.
Yeah. Where are you going?
Family, we're going to Canada, so British Ottawa, which was a Brooklyn Nine-Nine joke, and trust me, I've been there several times. My parents live there. My mom just turned 91 last week.
Nice, right on.
Battling dementia, still hanging on, down to 88 pounds, but God love her, she's still hanging on. Dad's sharp as a tack, and my sister lives there, and they went to Canada because they're close to Jill,
right?
And it's a little more affordable and stuff. And then we're going down to Montreal to see my cousins, Burlington, Vermont for a day or 2.
Nice.
Through Buffalo to Hamilton, where my son lives with his girlfriend.
Okay.
So we're road trip. One day, Barb and I are going to go somewhere 2 weeks, and we're not going to road trip anywhere, and we're not going to know what to do with ourselves. We never stay in the same place for more than a few days. So there's Benny, Wrigley.
Vacation's about relaxing, Tim. I think
everywhere we go on a holiday, we road trip.
Yeah.
It is rare that we stay in the same place.
Wow.
It's weird.
Yes.
This is what we do. Okay. Thank you very much. So we're going to get some content for you next weekend, but we're off for a few weeks, and we'll come recalibrate and plug it at Facebook. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Off Topic with Tim and Matt, where we always go
Off topic.